Hi, my name is Dan Schmitt and it's Team Chicago Challenge. Today we're at Leaf River, Illinois, and we're with the Forest City Riders for their Enduro. Last week we covered a dual sport event. This week I'm riding the Enduro. I'm riding Phil Young's Kawasaki. Videotaped a lot of the riders out here. We're going to see what they have to say about riding this event. We're going to ride the event with the helmet cam, and I think it's going to be a pretty exciting show. So let's go check out riding in Enduro, AMA Enduro District 17 with the Forest City Riders. Well, bright and early Saturday morning. That's right, this Enduro is held on a Saturday for some reason, which I didn't quite understand. I know this Enduro was scheduled in the spring, but because of the heavy rains, it got delayed, and now they're running it the second weekend in November as the riders walk over to the municipal building for Leaf River. The riders sign up. AMA membership is required. This is a timed event. And we're going to go to the riders meeting. Ryan Moss is putting on the riders meeting. He's the chairman, and he's going to tell us if you don't want to ride, he'll give you your money back with the AMA.
Get your money back. I got to say that from the AMA. A couple people I do want to thank. The Leaf River Fire Department. They're running. They got some EMTs going to be around in case we need them. Yeah, and actually last week they did help us out. We were fortunate. If you guys were here at the dual sport last week, I want to thank you for playing the poker hand. We were able to donate $420 to them. So that helped out quite a bit, and they used that money to buy new equipment, so thanks for that. I want to thank the complex and everybody there. They're doing lunch for us today. They let us park here, let us ride out of here. That's a pretty big deal for us because we did lose our club grounds that many of you are familiar with for years. So luckily we got this place, which is a lot better, I believe. So thanks to them. And lastly, I want to thank all the club members for helping us put this on. If you guys don't belong to a club, I don't want to yell at people, but you guys got to help out. There's probably about 5 guys that laid this Enduro out twice now, and we're hurting for members. You guys on early minutes, you're going to find out that we're hurting for members. We'll just letting you know that.
Did I change my minute?
That's why we ran at 18 the first loop, because we don't have the people to cut and break it in. We just got the people to put arrows up, so that's what we did. So if you guys are out yelling at us because we didn't cut the trail very well, think about before you yell at somebody. There's about 5 of us that probably laid out all this stuff, and about 5 guys that did last weekend. So join the club and help out. It'll help the sport keep going.
Well, after the riders meeting, as we get near the key time, that's the start of the Enduro. This is a timed event. When you sign up, you draw a time. One thing nice about Enduro, if you got a bunch of friends that you're riding with, you can all draw the same time and ride together. But it's a timed event. This event was scheduled to start at 11 o'clock. So every minute after 11 o'clock is your key time. Like I drew 38, so I'm starting 38 minutes after 11 o'clock, which is the key time. And though that's the time I will be scored on for the remaining part of the Enduro. As this group of riders heads out to the woods, there's a number board there, and as they flip the number board, that's the time for you to leave. You see them head into the woods. This first section is an 18-mile-an-hour average speed is what you have to maintain in the woods. And before you know it, it is my time to get going. So I ride over to the starting area. I'm on a Kawasaki KLX 300 that I borrowed from my friend Phil Young. Like I said, my key minute is 38, and I'm right on time. As you'll see the board, it says 37. That's the group from 37 taking off. And now it's going to be my time as I wait my minute for my start. Well, as you can see, there's a few other riders on the same minute. I don't recognize them, but like I said, this is my first dirt event for the year. And I'm gonna have to get my dirt legs, which is a term I use. You gotta get used to riding in the dirt if you're gonna make a good clip, keep a good speed. As I head out across this cornfield to begin the AMA Enduro. Now when the Brush Poppers had the final Enduro of the year, they used to call it the Bitter End Enduro. This is not the Bitter End Enduro. I don't even know what name they have for this. But we're with the Forest City Riders, AMA Enduro, and I'm looking forward to the great adventure as we head into these woods. And I wasn't going too fast across the field, but I guess these riders I'm with are letting me head into the woods first, even though I am really, really slow. This bike that I'm riding is a 4-stroke 300. I'm not overriding the capabilities of this bike. This is fine. So far in this woods, we're running dual sport tires, not knobbies, but that should be okay. It's been pretty dry in western Illinois. Now these are the same woods that the dual sport riders rode the week before. So these are pretty decent trails. And like I said, I have to get used to riding in the woods again. This is something that usually takes me a couple events to start feeling confident, picking up speed. But we'll see where this all goes, what this takes me, as I anticipate having big fun on this Enduro. It's supposed to be 2 loops of 25 or 30 miles. Now the bike I'm riding, this KLX 300, belongs to Phil Young. And Phil was nice enough to let me borrow it. So I talked to Phil earlier back in his garage when I picked the bike up. There's a couple riders come blasting by. Let's go to Phil Young.
And Phil Young, of course, you know me. Hey, listen, you're going to do me a little favor here because I don't get the chance to. Obviously, wintertime, I'm too busy. I got too many projects going on in the garage, old race bikes, trying to get that stuff ready for next year. But you're going to do me a favor and actually go get my new bike, my new Kawasaki, my KLX 300. Got that over at Champion. And it's a 2003, so I haven't even had it in the dirt yet. So I appreciate you taking it out, as long as you bring it back not broken. So you can go break it in and see how that works. But of course we had to get a little bit here put back together and set up for you because I've got this thing set up for street. One of the cool things you can do with these bikes, is kind of nice even in the city of Chicago, this thing makes a great urban assault vehicle, is you can go to a company called Baja. They sell Baja kits. They're out of Southern California, I believe it is. And you can convert these things over to a street legal bike. And what I've done is pulled these pieces back off again so that you can go ahead and run it in the dirt. But what you can get from Baja is a kit that's just like this, and this makes the bike DOT legal. It'll have dual high beams. It's going to go ahead and have turn signals on it for you. It's got a battery system with the horn in it and the turn signal relay switch. Take these pieces back off again and put just the Kawasaki bits and pieces on for an Enduro style bike, which is just a tail light, and then it's got a headlight bucket on it too. So it's ready to go. I wish I could go out and ride this weekend, but I'm like many people where I have to work weekends and things like that.
So what about these tires? What are we going to experiment with?
The other thing that you want to do too is if you set one of these things up for the street is you're going to have to put DOT tires on, and that's what these are. They're dual sport tires. You can get fairly inexpensive sets. You can get expensive sets if you want, whatever you want. And they work pretty darn good. And I think you're going to find out for me. And I'm interested to find out is how these work using a dual sport now for this Enduro ride that you're going to do versus the knobby tires, which I didn't put those back on yet. So I'm interested to see what you tell me about that, how these work in the terrain, hard packed dirt, things like that.
Well, I got to thank Phil for letting me borrow this bike. It is absolutely clean, like brand new. He's never beat it in the woods, and believe me, you do some woods riding, a bike will get beat up. You get mud in places you never imagined mud could get to on a motorcycle. Besides these bar busters on the end of the handlebars have never been scraped on this bike, and they're getting scraped continuously. As I get into this little area here, which is up and down, you can see they got it taped up because they want everybody to have the fun of going up and down these hills. This little area down by the river. So these uphills that are a little steeper than they appear with the helmet cam. And like I said, as I'm getting my dirt legs back, I'm remembering how to ride up and down properly, how to go down a steep hill using front and rear brake, and a little bit of engine braking. So you can see the care that the four city riders have put into laying out this Enduro, making sure there's enough of a challenge for the better riders, the A riders, the B riders. Remember, there are different classes that you can enter at an Enduro depending on your skill level, and they have age classes. I just entered the C class because this is my first event. And as I continue on, earlier I had a chance to talk to a few riders in the pits.
This is Craven Moorhead live from Leaf River, Illinois this morning for the end of the year Enduro. With me is my color commentator.
There you go, Steve.
Steve.
Just Steve.
Craven and Steve. So this morning we're looking for lots of fast action, lots of fires.
Oh, I think we're going to have some accidents on the track today.
It's going to be a big day, I'm
People
telling
are going
you.
to fight it. I'm here to tell you.
No headlight, no ride.
That's their moment. You got to watch it. Have a good time.
Come on, Dueno.
Walker Ledke, I'm from Wahoo, Nebraska. I ride the District 22 Iowa Enduro Riders Enduro Association events and other national enduros across the country, and I'm just coming here to help my buddy out over here win the overall B title. I was fortunate enough to wrap the overall A title up at the last race in Iowa, and this will be one of the last events I ride before I go to last man standing in Texas, so hopefully have a good day.
Why I enjoy riding Enduros, they're just so much fun. To get out with your buddies and chase each other through the woods, it's an acquired skill level. It's difficult at times and it's a personal challenge, but I just enjoy it. On a day like this, getting out here in the fall and seeing all these leaves, it's just a rush. Thanks. Hey, Tito Nappy, this is my buddy Tito.
Hi everyone, glad you could join us for the Enduro today. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be a great ride. This club does a great job of putting on an Enduro. I ride KTM 450 EXC. It's a great bike for doing this kind of thing. It's set up with all kinds of electronic stuff I don't even know how to use. I'm just going to follow the arrows and have fun today. Anything else you want to know?
Well, tell me about your involvement with Black Hawk Farms.
Oh, my dad originally was the founder and builder of Black Hawk Farms Raceway, where I grew up as a kid. So I've seen more auto races than I care to remember. I ride motorcycles. Got out of that thing, but it's a great facility for road racers. For anybody who likes to road race and bikes, it's a great facility. If you ever get a chance to get up there, and it's in outside of Rockton, Illinois. So if you like that kind of thing,
Tell me about the club in Pecatonica.
Oh, the Four City Riders been around a long time. This event here used to be a national enduro that started out of Pecatonica at the fairgrounds, where they also used to do a big national flat track, and the club was very involved. And like most AMA clubs nowadays, they've met their challenges as far as land use and membership. So they're still together. They're still putting on great events. We're going to have some fun today.
Double A class. I ride enduros because they're very technical and tough and better than work.
Bad, Robbie.
Better than work, definitely.
Hey, I'm John Ryan. I ride Vet A in District 17, District 15, and District 14. I belong to the Hill and Gully Club. We've been putting on the Summer Bummer for 40 years. If you've ever been there, you'd understand what Summer Bummer means. It's a good time and very hot. And I think we like to ride enduros because where can you get on a motorcycle ride for 5 hours and can't drive home because your legs hurt so bad.
Let's get back on the trail and continue on. Well, I'll tell you, this is a real test for this KLX 300 So far, this 4-stroke engine, it's only 300 cc's, but it performs perfectly. It starts real easily. As we come to the first water crossing, I have no idea how deep this creek is, but you can see the bottom, so it's not too deep. It's got a rock bottom, that's good. But you got to remember, I'm running the dual sport tires. They're not working quite as well as a full knobby would, but it's been pretty dry as we head across this cornfield. Now this first loop is supposed to be an 18-mile-an-hour average, and as you can see, I have not been maintaining 18 miles an hour in the woods. So when you get to these open fields, these corn fields or soybean fields or whatever fields they put us in, it gives you the opportunity to pick up the speed and make up some time. This is my first ride in a couple years. I'll tell you, next year when I'm not road racing, I'm doing a dirt event. Every opportunity I get, no doubt about it. But I'm struggling along because this is my first event and I don't quite have what I refer to my dirt legs, but it's also my dirt mind. As I come to this water crossing, now I should be looking for an alternative, but for some reason I chose to go down the center path, which turns out to be a huge mistake. Especially with the tires I have on this bike, there's no way I'm going to get out of here, so I'm going to have to drag the bike out. And while I work to drag the bike out, on my way out here, coming out the Leaf River, I cut down Highway 2 just south of Byron, and I ran across what I consider to be the coolest, greatest historical marker, and it happens to be in the state of Illinois, just south of Byron on Highway 2. I spotted this sign maybe 10 years ago. So let me show you this historical marker in western Illinois, located off of Highway 2, as I dig my bike out of the hole. And this historical marker tells the story about the banditti gang and the regulators. And the regulators were sort of a vigilante group, local citizens. The bandittis were known as murderers and horse thieves. And after they burned down the courthouse in Oregon, the regulators threatened to run them out of town. What seems like John Driscoll, who was the leader of the bandittis, had 4 sons. 2 of the sons were accused of killing one of the regulator leaders. That was John Campbell. Phineas Cheney witnessed the murder, so the regulators hunted down these sons. When they caught them, they put on their own trial with 112 jurors. They were found guilty. 55 regulators killed one of the sons. 56 regulators shot the other son. The regulators were then brought to trial later on. They were found innocent of their vigilante activity. But this is really a great story. In the state of Illinois, when Illinois was the Wild Wild West in the 1830s and the 1840s, and not only would that make a great story, the banditti gang and the regulators, but that would also make a pretty good movie showing the Wild Wild West in Illinois in the 1830s and 1840s. And as I finally get the bike out of the ditch, I still cannot make it up the hill. These 3 riders show up, and they're all got the 38-minute on the front of their bikes. This is the group of guys that started with me, but it turns out it's 2 guys, 1 girl, and they've been riding together behind me, and looks like they've been having a great time riding together. This is what enduro riding's all about. If you're only a rookie, you need some help, you ride with your friends. Your friends will help you out of the tight spots. Now this rider on his Honda, he's looking for an alternative route, which I should have done when I had my look at this water crossing. But these are the people that started on the same minute as me. I'm the one that scooted across the woods first. I haven't seen him since the start. Now he's going to take a nice alternative right here, makes it up. And now one of the riders is going to give me a hand. I'm going to push. He's going to work the clutch and the gas, and we're going to get ourselves out of this little swamp. Push the bike out. When there's two people, it becomes much more manageable. I could have really dragged the bike up to the top, which would have been my next alternative if these riders did not show up. Give me a hand. I'll tell you, I am so happy that they showed up. The riders that started on the same minute with me, that was a couple hours ago. Well, as we get towards the end of this first loop, this is one of the 7 creek crossings. I made it across the creek, but I couldn't make it up this embankment. As I pull the bike back, ready to get the bike fired up, I spot a little trail off to the side where a couple other bikes went. That's where I'm going to aim for. After getting across the creek 2 or 3 times, now the camera is even acting up. I don't know if it's a loose wire or the battery's starting to go dead. The camera is performing pretty well for all the abuse. As we see a bike come by, these riders are on their second loop. As they're heading towards the end, it turns out the end of this event is just down the trail a little bit. We're almost at the end. I'll be finishing up one loop. These riders are finishing up their second loop. As I make my way down this little side trail, a little less of a embankment, like I said, these dual sport tires on this Kawasaki. The Kawasaki has performed perfectly. The dual sport tires just need more bite. As I make it down these slippery trails now, I gotta take it nice and easy. The back wheel is just spinning up as we come across another creek crossing. This is quite a challenge. Now I don't know that the end is right ahead. I'm just charging along, trying to make it through. But we got a lot of riders coming by. As you can see, the back wheel was spinning up and put me almost off the trail completely. Slowly and surely, I'll make my way out of here as more bikes that are on their second loop are finishing up. This has been a great day. And some of the results to this point include the first AA rider is Chris Nees, Vet A is John Ryan from the Hill and Gully Riders. Rob McGee was the 4th place AA rider. Open A was Tom Ferris. 250A was Mark Buhart. Senior A was Martin Algile. 250B was Scott Mertes as they come into the final checkpoint. Vet B was Jason Krauserich. Senior B was Charles Buss. Open B was Adam Vanderdorp. As the riders continue to roll into the final checkpoint in the C class, it was Travis Hell picking up the win. Justin Riedel was 2nd. Chuck Tibbins was 3rd. I ended up 25th. I only lost 196 points, but I made it through 5 checkpoints.
Oh, that was big fun. Fun, nice deep creek back there. I've got it. I had to make it through there. Yeah, the first loop. The first loop, right. So what's this time based on? Tell me what this time is based on.
It's based on your speed. You have a speed average.
Time. How is this figured?
Oh, this is figured from 0. So the number coming up here is the number that should be on the
How long has it
motorcycle.
been running since the start?
This is another check. This is the last check. The clocks are set sometime the day before. So everything is worked off of the start time, the key time. And the rider number 34 should be here at 34, and they won't be.
Right. Good. That's it. Forest City Riders, AMA Enduro in November 2007. I had a great time. Make plans to come out and join us next year. Thank you, gentlemen, for all the information. I had a great time, even though it was quite a struggle. And I think these 3 riders coming up are the ones that helped me at the water crossing. For more information on the Forest City Riders, their website is forestcityriders.com. On Facebook, it's Forest City Riders MC. Check it out, find out their schedule. Contact me, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. I love to hear from my audience. And remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for great motorcycle racing action. And I highly recommend that you visit Jim Kirstein's World of Motorcycle Museum. It's in Winamac, Indiana, just south of North Judson, Indiana, right off of Indiana 39. Give them a call first at 574-896-3172. World of Motorcycle Museum, a great collection of motorcycles and a great trip. I've been there many times, and every time I find something new when I visit the World of Motorcycle Museum.